Welcome to classes of St.Michaels Academy. This is geography class for class 9 and we are going to start a new chapter today which is on page number 72 in your book named Weathering. The natural environment with all types of landform features always keeps changing. The Earth's surface undergoes changes through several natural processes. In the previous chapter, we had learned through geomorphic processes that how the landforms of the Earth keeps on changing. We learned that there are two types of processes, endogenic and exogenic processes, and we also learned that even in very old times the continents of the earth were once joined, and then due to the movement of tectonic plates these continents were separated from each other. So this change of landforms keeps taking place on the surface of the earth, and the landforms of the earth as well as the structure of the landforms keeps on changing from time to time. We also learned that exogenic processes wear down the highland areas and deposit the worn down materials on the lowland areas. This wearing and tearing done by the exogenic processes is known as gradation. What does gradation do? Gradation actually makes the surface of the earth's surface even. It levels the earth's surface. Gradation may be defined as the process which attempt to remove all the unevenness of the land on the surface of the earth and reduce them to almost even surface. Gradation of land is done by two processes, namely degradation and aggradation. First, let's discuss about degradation. Is the process of lowering of the earth's surface, means weathering, erosion and mass wasting, or the denudation which occurs on the earth's surface is known as denudation. The agents that perform the work of degradation are the sun, rain, wind, river, running water, glacier, sea waves, etc. These agents reduce the initial landforms to lower heights, while basins and depressions are filled up by these agents to bring the land to a common level. So the higher landforms such as mountains, they because of degradation are lowered down because of wearing and tearing down of rock materials, and with the help of these materials the basins and the depressions they are filled up with these rock materials which are worn down with the hand. They are brought down to a they are made the surface is made to an even level. So we can say that the wearing and tearing down of materials is known as degradation, and the filling up of basins and depressions with the help of those materials which have been worn down is known as aggradation. So aggradation is basically filling up the basins and depressions to make the surface level even, and degradation is the wearing and tearing down of landforms to which is known as weathering. So let's talk about weathering. What is weathering? Weathering refers to the disintegration and decomposition of rocks in situ. In situ means degradation or decomposition of the rock where it is situated. The term weathering comes from the word weather. So weather means breaking up or decaying of rocks by the action of weather elements such as the sun, the rain, the wind, humidity and frost. So wearing and tearing down of rock materials is basically known as weathering, and this weathering it takes place because of the external factors such as rain, wind, humidity and frost. Weathering is a static process. It means the rock disintegrate and decay where it is situated. The weathered material sometimes get displaced only by gravity. By weathering, new substances like minerals can be produced. For example, if there are any minerals behind the rocks, means inside the rocks, then due to weathering after the rocks wear and tear the minerals can be found out. So it is considered as a creative process. So the speed of weathering it depends on certain factors which are discussed further. The first factor on which weathering depends is the nature of the rocks. Nature of the rocks usually decides whether the weathering process is going to speed up or slow down. For example, igneous rocks are very easily weathered, and sedimentary rocks like limestones are also weathered easily. Also, when there are cracks or fissures on the rocks, they are more prone to weathering. However, if the rock is intact and there are no cracks on it, then the weathering process takes place very slowly. The second factor on which weathering depends is the topography. So it is obvious that steep slopes will weather more quickly because first of all the external forces like wind, sun and rain are acting, and secondly because of gravity they also weather very quickly. So the steep slopes aggravate weathering, and removal of debris like gravity is faster on steep slopes than gentler ones. The third factor affecting weathering is climate. So dry areas like deserts, they are more prone to weathering. This is because a desert has a very hot climate during daytime, because of which the rocks expand, and in the night time the climate becomes cool, because of which the rocks again contract. So this continuous contraction and expansion of rocks, it increases the weathering process to a huge extent. Again, mountains covered with snow are also prone to weathering because of the same process. Because what happens in snow, it fills up the cracks and fissures of the mountains, and during night time what happens when the temperature decreases, the this snow it freezes up, and again during daytime it melts and becomes water. So this continuous process of melting and freezing, it expands the cracks on the rocks, and due to which weathering occurs. The last factor on which weathering depends, and a very important one, is the presence of vegetative cover. So you already learnt in soil erosion that the roots of trees or grasslands, they hold the soil tightly, because of which soil erosion is because which prevents soil erosion. The same goes in case of weathering. What happens in landforms and mountains when they are filled with trees and grasslands and all, the weathering process takes place very slowly, because the landforms are held together with the help of the roots of the trees. However, in case where there is less vegetation, weathering is more prone in these types of areas. Please make sure to go through your book till where we have studied today, and in the next class we'll proceed with the chapter. For any queries, please feel free to email me at this email ID. Thank you.